We are here today to interview the founder of the New York Acting School for Film and Television, Mark Stolzenberg. And Mark, today's subject matter is another class that you designed and developed, which is pretty unique in the field, I guess. Maybe you're the only one that does it, which is called the Agent Showcase. Now, what in the world is an Agent Showcase?
Well, it's a package of 5 classes, consecutive weeks, and what we do in the class, basically, with what I do with my students, is work on a monologue or a scene intensively, so that they perfect it, so that it becomes a real good vehicle for them to showcase themselves. So, we drill one scene or one monologue until it's perfect as possible. The only other thing about the Agent Showcase is when you do a monologue or a scene for presentational purposes, like you're going to show this to an agent, so you have to perform it differently than if you were doing it in the actual movie. So when you do a monologue in a showcase or as a presentational vehicle, what you're doing is you're pulling out the monologue from the script, from the movie, or excerpting it, and now it has to stand on its own as a work of art. And there's certain things you need to do with that to make it work as an integral piece that stands on its own. So the way you perform for a showcase could be the same monologue, that it would be different from the way you did it if you were shooting the movie. And that's where I come in, because I'm very good at differentiating for people and coaching them on that. Just to give you one little example of what might apply. When you do a monologue for an agent, the first line and the last line are very important. You have to punch the first line, and the last line they call a button. You want to emphasize the last line of your monologue. It's like a closing remark. So you're packaging the monologue in a container that way. A strong opening and a button at the end. And agents look for that when you present a monologue to them. If you don't do it, they think you haven't been trained properly. And that's different from the way you would perform that same monologue in the movie. The whole thing changes. And then in the final class, I invite either a manager or an agent to come, and everybody performs their monologue, and the agent gets to see everybody. And then there's usually question and answers and interactiveness, and so it's a great way to get yourself in an agent's face on their desk with your performance. And even if the agent doesn't sign you right after that, you still make a connection. 2 years later, you can say, "Remember me from Mark's Showcase?" And they'll say, "Oh, yeah. Because this acting business is all about networking and connections." And in fact, the last Agent Showcase I had, by the way, it was totally on Zoom. I had 10 students, invited a manager, professional, well-known manager. The manager signed 4 of my students from that showcase. Unheard of. They never sign anybody. They show up, I pay them a little something to come, and they show up. They never sign anybody. 4 of my students got signed from a Zoom Agent Showcase. So it's extremely effective.
Yeah. So in the book industry, which I know way more about than your industry, they tell you that it's harder to find an agent than it is to find a publisher.
Mm-hmm.
So is it harder to find an agent in the film business than it is to actually just go straight in an audition without an agent backing you up?
Well, that's a tricky question, but getting an agent is extremely difficult. You can submit yourself for auditions, and you can get seen for certain things, but you're not getting the cream of the crop. You're getting like lower level auditions, like small parts, one line, something like that. If you're really trying to get a major Hollywood role, or even some sort of medium level kind of role, you need an agent to represent you, to submit you. So, getting an agent is very, very difficult. It's not easy.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I don't know, this is what I hear in New York, comparing New York to LA, in LA, it's really easy to get an agent. You just, they sign up everybody, but then you sit around, they don't send you out for anything.
So I am in LA, and so I know a bunch of folks, and sometimes it kind of works the other way, Mark. They take your money,
right?
They take a lot of money to give you. So there's a little bit of, at least there's a reputation. I don't know if it's true or not.
Well, agents are not supposed to take any money from the actor up front.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's the basic thing that everyone should know is agents and managers work on commission. And anyone who, if an agent or a manager says, I need a retainer, you have to walk. Do not do that. Yeah, it's inappropriate.
Okay.
So, in New York, it's harder to get an agent, but usually when you get one, they are a little bit more serious about submitting you for things.
All right. So if somebody wants to get in touch with you in order to sign up, how would they do that?
Well, go to my website, actingclassforfilm.com. They could call 212-877-2219, or they can email me, stolzfunds72@gmail.com. Any of those will work.
Fantastic, Mark.